Hello students, today we are going to cover the topic that is social, cultural and cultural aspects of Indian consumer. We have already discussed about adoption and diffusion and the cognitive dissonance that occur after the post purchase, and we have seen the various remedies or ways to reduce the dissonance. So today we will be discussing about the socio-cultural and the cultural aspects of Indian consumers. So first of all, we need to understand what is culture. Culture is a set of learned belief, values, attitude, habits, and forms of behavior that are shared by the society and are from generation to generation. Means these are the belief that go on transferring from one generation to another, and that is followed by all the members of the society. That could be the beliefs, values, or the attitude that has been common in the same society, and the habits and the forms of behavior that will be common in the society, and all will be following the same tradition, and it will be passing from one generation to another generation. Or in other words, we can say culture is the personality of the society. It may include the language, customs, traditions, norms, laws, religious, art and music, etc. So it is like whatever the society is following. So the entire members of the family, that particular society will be following the same habits or same values. They are following the same thing. It includes the language they are speaking, the customs and traditions they are following, the laws and norms within a society should be same, religion, art and music. All these will be included in the culture part. If we talk about the characteristics of culture, culture is natural and permeates naturally into the social system. See, culture is natural. It is not like we are artificially imposing. It is natural and it is similar in the same society. See, if one is following, if the opinion leader or an experienced person of a society is doing or following a certain thing, so other people will automatically fall into the same system. Culture helps in satisfaction of needs. So there might be a chance that the need of the society will also be the need of the individual person. Suppose there is a need for any product that a member is going for, so they will look for the views that entire society is using for that particular brand, and they will be it will be helping that particular consumer in making the purchase decision. Culture is not inborn, it is learned as a result of socialization process. Socialization process means as we get to know about the people within a society, we get acquainted with the various rules, customs, traditions of a society. So it is learned. It is not in one. Means we will not learn culture from our before birth. So this is a socialization process that occur once we have taken birth, and we are learning things from the society in which we are living. Culture is shared means it is not like it is for individual. The entire society is sharing the culture. Now, coming to the components of culture, one by one, we will be discussing about the components of culture. Values means the belief and ideals that has been shared by the people of the society, and they have great respect and regard for those values. It can be both positive and negative, and indicative of appropriate thoughts, feelings, and act of behavior. So values are a set of beliefs or ideals that the people of a society are following, and everyone have a great respect and reverence for such type of beliefs. These could be means in a positive way which should be done, and negative which shouldn't be done. So it indicates that the thoughts, feelings, and the acts of behavior of a society. The second component is language. Language is simply a mean to communicate with the people who are living in a society. So these are the ways to express your opinion and whatever you want to say. It is a medium. It is a common language that binds the people of a society into a social structure. You can express your views, you can tell your thoughts. So language is a medium to communicate in the social setup. Now, myths are simply the legendary folk tales and the stories that describe events and occurrences and teach values to the society. So these are generally imaginary and fictitious and comprise that the characters of God, heroes, common men, ultimately aimed at giving lessons to the people from these stories with respect to the cause and effect of good, bad, right, wrong. So these are generally the imaginary and fictitious stories which are generally used to tell the good or the bad and the right and wrong things through the stories or the folk tales that has been not real and imaginary. So myths describe the values that the member of a social structure that they should follow. Now, coming to the custom part, customs are habitual practice that formulate the established way of doing things and reflect culturally accepted patterns of behavior. The culture means it is an well established way of doing things and it reflects the patterns of behavior. They reflect practices that have permanent continuance and established for a long period of time. In other words, we can say these are the conventions people in a society follow, practices collectively, and habitual activity gets transmitted from one generation to another. So once they have formed the habit, so it will automatically transmitted from one generation to another generation. Now, every society is composed of smaller subunits which are homogeneous within, and it is heterogeneous from other groups, or we can say it is a kind of clusters which is homogeneous inside and outside it is heterogeneous. When we put together a society, it can be broken into different subunits. So such subunits or subgroups are known as subculture. We talked about culture, and within culture also there are various subcultures. People within subculture possess distinctive sets of values, of beliefs, custom, and tradition. So one is culture, and the sub part of culture is subculture. And within also the subculture, the value, the set of values, beliefs, customs, and tradition will be different. The members of a subculture possess that such values and beliefs are also customs and traditions that set them apart from belonging to other subcultures. So, two subcultures are different from one another. Within a subculture, they will have same set of values and beliefs. Now, not all people within a social system will have same language, religion, customs, and tradition. Different religion people and different people with different customs are living in a social system. For example, if we talk about India, our culture is Indian and with common national language Hindi and common festivals like Holi, Diwali, Dashera. So if we talk about North Indians and South Indians, they are quite different. In North India, we celebrate Holi, Lohri as a harvest festival in January. The southern people celebrate Pongal as their harvest festival at the same time. So within a social system also, the people may behave differently. People within smaller units share same language, religion, customs, and tradition, and this would be different in smaller or larger magnitude to the people of other subunit. So one subunit and if there are two subunits, so within the subunits they will have same language, same religion, customs, and tradition. But if we are comparing two subunits, so they will have difference in all these things. A single culture can be broken up into various subcultures. तो एक culture को हम different subcultures में break कर सकते हैं. So now what exactly is a subculture? Subculture, a culture that is not dominant in the society. As consumers from various subcultures, we are different to each other. Subculture means that is not very prominent. It is the hidden part of the society, and we are belonging from different subcultures. So we are different from each other. We have varying values, beliefs, customs, tradition, etc. And these get reflected in our perspectives and orientation that influence our purchase patterns and consumption behavior. So how we are coming from different backgrounds, different subcultures. One person may have different values and belief, the other person might have different customs and traditions. So that will be reflected into the purchase pattern and the consumption behavior that will be uh, assisting in decision making process. Now, types of subculture. See, if we talk about the subculture, there are certain things which is common within a subunits, or you can say within a subculture, and they are different from the different subunit. While we all are Asians, we are distinct with respect to culture and are different in terms of language, customs, and traditions. Thus, we are classified as Indians, Indians for India, Burmese, Nepalese, and Pakistani. So, based on the nationality also, because different nationality people have different language and different customs and traditions. Second type of subculture is geographical location. Within a country, we could be different across geography, climatic conditions, regions, terrains, and the density of the population. So, this is more so in cases where the country is large and the borders spread across a huge population occupying a vast territory. So, if the country is very large and spread, the borders are spread across a huge population occupying a vast territory, people tend to develop a regional affinity and identification, and this gets reflected in the food they eat, clothes they wear, interests they pursue. So different locations, people will have different attires. For example, people living in Jammu and Kashmir will having different attire. In the similar way, the people from Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, UP will have a different attire, whereas as compared to the southern region, there will have different types of attire. They constitute a different subculture, and the people across subculture are different to each other. This we have already seen, and we have taken the examples also. Like North Indians like to wear different kinds of clothes, whereas South Indians likes to wear different types of clothes. In the similar way, we saw that in the previous slide that in North India we celebrate Lori as a harvest festival, whereas South India they celebrate Pongal as their festival. As consumers, our needs are different and would translate into different wants. For example, differences in food habits and the demand for puri, sabji, paratha, idli, vada, etc., and difference in clothing demands for cottons, woolen, and silk. If we look at the Jammu and Kashmir, the clothing will be woolen as the area is very cold. Whereas if we move towards the southern India, the climate is very humid and with moisture. So there the demand for the cloth will be of cotton clothes. In the similar way, the food habits will be different. And in North India, people like to eat puri, sabji, paratha. Whereas if we go to the southern sides or below the Maharashtra belt, so the people like to prefer idli, vada, sambar, tappam, etc. So the next subculture is that is a religion. People also exhibit differences when it comes to a religion that they belong, because Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikhs, Parsis, all are different from one another and have different kinds of values and beliefs and the customs and traditions. As consumer make purchase choice and purchase decisions, they are influenced by the religious leaders or the scriptures and the holy books, whatever the teachings that has been given in their holy book, and whatever the teachings delivered by the religious leader also impact the purchase decisions. So religion play an important role in other decision making and the how it is impacting the consumer behavior. There are many products or services that are symbolically and ritualistically associated with the religion. For example, as per Islam, non-vegetarian food must be halal, and thus itself comprise a huge segment that market across national boundaries are catering to. So there are certain product and services which are specifically for religion. Now, the race and caste culture in its components also vary across race and caste, like Jats, Rajputs, Pathans, Yadavs are different from one another. Such racial subcultures also impact the buying behavior and the consumption patterns. So, we have seen various subcultures which are impacting the buying behavior and the consumption patterns. The next subculture is gender, because gender play an important role in the purchase, consumption, and computes an important cultural subgroup. Male and females have different characteristics and they have different way of thinking. So and the characteristics make them a masculine and feminine, so they have different way of thinking and different thought process. They also perform different roles in society and are two distinct subgroups. It is true that gender roles have got blurred, as both men and women are performing such roles which they don't used to perform earlier. Now there is no line between men and women. Women are also equally performing the task. Product usage is common in both men and women. Like for example, a man shown in using an LG washing machine or making egg to popcorn. Similarly, products like shavers and razor exclusively to use by men are also being used by women. Like Gillette thus introduced a razor for women. So gender also play an important role in forming the buying behavior and the consumption pattern, as this has brought about a big socio-economic change and led to the cultural transformation. The values are by the generation of today is much different from the one espoused by the previous segment. Next is age. Infants, kids, adolescent, adults, and the aged may be looked upon as distinct subgroup. They have different values and beliefs and also impacts upon their priorities of life. Nowadays, the kids are also playing an important role while making decisions. Suppose a mobile phone has to be bought. So as the young generation is more tech savvy and they have more information regarding the latest technology, so we have to consult them before making the purchase, as they have more idea about the recent technology. Daily lifestyles, activities and interests, fashion and accessories, food and diet receive various priorities across the various subgroups. So age also is an important factor in buying decision process. For example, an aged person would prioritize health and go for nutrition food. They don't want to go for junk food and the oily food. Whereas if we talk about the young generation or the young man would prioritize work and go for fast food. They want to finish work on time, so they don't have time to prepare food at home. So they will order the food online like Swiggy, Zomato, etc. So today we are seeing the rising trend amongst kids, adolescents, and young towards the junk food, as they constitute a lucrative segments for restaurants providing fast food. So the age also impact the consumption pattern. So this is assignment 8. This is the last assignment for this subject. You have to give 3 questions for this assignment, and the last date is today itself by 10 p.m. The first question is, explain the process of diffusion. What are the various characteristics of adopter categories given by Everett Rogers? You have to explain this with the help of the diagram, that is a normal distribution curve. The second question is, the Amazon have introduced a new ebook reader that is more expensive than the previous models but have many more features. How can the company use the adopter categories in marketing this product? You have to correlate the introduction of new ebook reader with the categories of adopters. And the last question is you have to tell how culture affect the buying behavior and the consumption patterns. You have to give suitable examples to support your answer. Thank you. This is all for today's lecture. In the next lecture, you will be having one assessment test. Thank you. So be prepared for that.